Greetings, welcome to week 1 of CS120. We're going to go over the assignment Kraken the Code and show you how to do that, get started on it, and kind of what right looks like. So with that, go ahead, you click on the Kraken the Code. The gist of this is you are going to research if it's real or not, right? I don't care, not telling me what it is, right? I know what it is. You need to tell me if it's real or not. So, first things first, let's go ahead and get all set up. So we have our CS120 folder. This is a project, so go to projects. Now, generally the rule of thumb is if there's a bunch of files, you need to create a folder, but this is one file, so you can just create this in here. So in Google Doc, go ahead and give it a name. And whatever you want. The Kraken, is the Kraken real? I'm trying to make it look kind of like a project, right? So Kraken the Code, if you click up here, it'll automatically name it for you, and then it should eventually update here. So, we got that set up. Again, all that search stuff, using keywords, we're trying to figure out if the Kraken is real. Now, what are we going to do? Well, we're also going to evaluate the sources, right? So you need to find good sources, and then you're going to prove it by kind of evaluating them, and then give me good documentation, right? If the source only says what the Kraken is, it's not asking if it's real or not, right? Is it real? That is what we're trying to figure out, not what it is it real? So, with this, you'll go ahead and click on the legit-o-meter. Now, for the grading, you'll see this down here at the bottom. Formatting matters, all right? Formatting matters quite a bit, but I'm not grading you on does it look good. I'm grading you on does it not look bad, all right? So what do I mean by that? Well, if you just click this and click Open With, Google Docs, it's going to look bad, right? You're going to lose a ton of points if you just do this. Don't do this, right? It looks bad. This stuff on this page only goes halfway across the screen, right? So again, does not look good. Do not do that. But what you can do is go ahead, highlight this piece, because that's what you're going to be answering. Make sure to paste it without formatting. Alright, and then you'll notice, again, it's still not quite there, so you got to do a little bit of work. You'll also notice that some of these are on 2 lines. So I'm just hitting backspace and space, backspace, space. If it's on a second line, you need to do that. Otherwise, again, it's not going to look good and you lose points. Now, you need to do 2 sources per person. Again, if this is online or high school, then groups are optional, right? So if this is online or high school students who are watching this, groups are optional. But again, every person does 2 sources, right? Every person does 2 sources regardless. It's just you all put them on here and you all have one conclusion. So everyone does 2 sources, so we just go ahead and copy this. Paste it down here, and then change this to source 2. And then we're going to go down, and if we look at the legit-o-meter, kind of look through, rate it. I'm not too worried about the rating per se, because it's 1 through 5, but the conclusion, all right? And again, is it real, imagining, or something in between, right? Based on your sources. Based on your sources, is it real? Could it be real? Might it be real, right? So, again, I want to understand that as well, and we'll kind of talk about that when we get there for this. But again, based on source 1, it says the Kraken blah blah blah, the sightings blah blah, have investigated the whole ocean blah blah blah, so therefore, and then sightings number 2, again, putting it all together in a conclusion. So conclusion. Alright, so now I got my conclusion. So what do we research? Now again, I'm not going to help you with the searches. Again, think of all those keywords we've been talking about, how to do this, what you do. You want to find out if it's real, does it exist, right? So think about those as keywords. I'm just going to research the Kraken, right? And I'll show you right off the bat, if you do this, right, one is going to tell you what it is, and talk about, again, I don't care about that. I want to know if it's true or not. And then right off the bat, the actual first search result is a cryptocurrency, so that's no good. Now I'm going to use this Kraken as an example. But you're not allowed to use Wikipedia for this, all right? And also, you're not allowed to use this one anyway, because I'm doing it. But again, you're not allowed to use Wikipedia. That is not a source per se. It is a conglomeration of sources, which we'll see in a second. But I'm going to use this as the example. So We go in here, what's the name and URL, enter, name is Kraken, pasta, oh, that doesn't look good, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't care if you copy and paste some of this stuff, right? You can do quotes and stuff. Again, most of it should be in your words, especially the description, right? The describe, what does it say? I don't want you to copy and paste what it says. I want you to summarize what it says. But again, you can copy and paste like the names and dates and whatnot. However, again, what I kind of just showed you, if you do edit, paste without formatting, or what I like to use Control-Shift-V, there you go. That looks fine. It doesn't have to look good, it just can't look bad. That other one looked bad. So Kraken, and then this is its URL. And again, you can't use this. If you do it, you're just not going to get any points for that source, right? If you use Wikipedia, you will not get points for that source. I'm just kind of showing you how to fill this out. So then describe it, right? So read through it. Again, you can see there's a lot of information here. So if you summarize this in one sentence, we go back to your research, right? You're going to lose a ton of points on poor research. The main things that come from research, besides having to do a good conclusion, right? If you didn't actually do good research, then your conclusion's not going to be good. But is it filled out, right? Did you actually take time and answer these questions correctly? And then this should be at least like 3 sentences, right? What did it say? It says a bunch of stuff in here, right? Spottings, oceans, who they talk to. Again, what is the article about? I'm going to close that, so stop clicking on it. All right, so again, summarize it. Look for author names. Now, generally, as you're going through this, those names are going to be either at the top, and they'll be like, blah, 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 and notice it, like right in this spot, and then if it has a date, it'll draw me right there, or at the very end of it, you'll go ahead and find them as well, which in this case, it has all these references. So there's a ton of names and stuff because, again, this is Wikipedia. Again, it's not a source. These are the sources. Find it. What is its date? Already kind of went over that over. Find the sources. Here's all the sources. Sometimes they're down the bottom. There's a ton of sources. But other times, they're kind of in here, right? So this is a source. This is a source, right? So as you're kind of looking at this, some of these are just linking to other information, but depending on what you're looking at, a lot of the times when you're reading through, they'll just embed their sources into the actual article. So are there sources? Where did they come from? Was it an interview? Was it links to other web pages? Does it look good, right? Does it look professional, simple? Does it look like a second grader did it? Spell check. And that has to do with the writing style, period, right? Is it well written? Can you read it? Again, does it look like a second grader wrote it? Because, again, that's all indications that it's probably not a very good source if the person writing it didn't bother to even use spell check. And then is it trying to sell you something? And I'm not asking, like, does it have ads, right? Are there ads on the side? I mean, do put that, right? If it has ads, do put it has ads. But that doesn't mean people need to make money, right? So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But what is bad if they're trying to sell you Kraken merchandise, right? Or like the example you use later is Bigfoot. They're searching for Bigfoot, and they sell you Bigfoot memorabilia, right? They probably are biased to, yeah, of course it's real, right? Buy this Bigfoot fur. So again, are they trying to sell you something related to it? Like a trip to the ocean to go see the Kraken, right? Of course they're going to tell you it's real because they want you to go buy their thing. And then do the same thing for source 2. Again, different source. Is it real? And then put it all together based on source 1 and blah, 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 blah. And source 2 saying blah, 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 blah. I believe it's real, not real, or might be real, right? So, again, you're putting all of that together. And then you can see the formatting is 40% of your grade. Conclusion is 40% of your grade. So, again, I believe the Kraken's real because source 1 said so. Boom, man. Like, you might not even get 1 on that, right? You get less than that, right? So again, good conclusions, thoughtful research. That has to do with a lot to do with describe, right? I want to see that because again, is it real? So in here, I should be seeing evidence of it not being real or being real. Not the Kraken is a mythical creature. Okay, but that's not good research. You did not do a good search. Remember, and that's part of this, doing a good Google search. If the source doesn't actually say if it's real or not, you did not do a good Google search. So again, that's all part of the grade as you're looking at that. So double check this before you turn it in. And then when you're all said and done, just like we've done before, share. Anyone with a link, make sure it's not restricted. go back over here. I'll view this as a student real quick. And then click on your start assignment, click on your link, external link, call it whatever you want, Kraken, doesn't need to be caps locked, put it in there, and then turn it in. Alright, so I'll leave out of that. So those are the big things when you're trying to go ahead and figure out what that, right? So in a second, I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of a Bigfoot one, but again, I want you to understand this is your project. Alright, so magically here is the Bigfoot example. You can see the name of it, a link to it. Now you can have the URL like I have here, that's fine, but you can also just a link. And again, what does it say, right? And again, and some of this is bare minimum, but again, it's more than just, you can see, it says a lot. It's only a couple sentences, but it says a lot of what it's talking about. And then article, who was in it, when was it published, where the source is, so it talks about literature and stuff. Again, that's as you're reading, what does it reference? It might just say, based on this scientific literature, you're going through, again, this is a good example. Is it well organized? Is it not? Is it journalistic for the writing style? Again, you can be specific. What do you think of it? Does it look good or bad? And then, are they trying to sell you something? Again, it does sell stuff, but again, it's not necessarily influence Bigfoot content, right? So that's what I'm saying, right? That it does have selling that's not bad. And then again, in this example, that it was rated. So source 2. You can see again, and then here we go. Here is an A+ conclusion, right? You don't necessarily need to be this detailed to get an A, but I mean, I want to show you a good example of what a good conclusion looks like. So again, this is Bigfoot. You are doing the Kraken. I'm just trying to give you an example of what it looks like when it's all filled out. So hopefully, with all of this information, again, you'll go find good Google searches. You go back to the Google searching we talked about. And then, again, this is not a good one. You need to find out. I'm not trying to find out what the Kraken is. Is it real? Does it exist? All of that. All right. So, have a good one. We'll talk to you next time.